Hey there, creative people. Rebecca here. I have in this video 2 sketchbooks that I want to show you, and I'm going to do a flip through with the artwork that I've created in them so far, so stick around if you like sketchbooks. Hey everybody, and just real quickly I'm going to start with this stone paper, and then I'm going to take a look at this bamboo paper, and these are so cool and perhaps environmentally friendly, and that's not necessarily the reason I bought them, but it is a good bonus. And these were both inexpensive. This one I bought on Amazon, and I'll put some links below. This one came from Five Below, and I will also put some links below. And I will also put a link to the company I think might be the parent company that may have made this for Five Below, but more on that in just a second. So let me start with the stone paper. This is such a unique notebook. For one, it's made out of stone, and they give a little bit of information in here about the types of art media that it works well for, and then the types that it doesn't. And I will show you some, well, actually, these are all the things that work well. But one thing that did not work well for me was like oil pastels. But stone paper is waterproof, smudge-proof. You can get the pages wet, and as long as your pen is more permanent, then it will stay. They're just so interesting. And this notebook is a little bit heavier, which is really interesting, and also has kind of a smell to it. I don't know if do you ever sniff your art supplies? This one does have kind of a smell, so it's like a talc smell. But these pages, I think it's 80 to 90% stone. It's a byproduct. I'll put the link information. Calcium bicarbonate, I believe it was. So it's a byproduct, and so they are able to get this ground up stone and then mix it with a little bit of resin. So these are very interesting pages. It's tear resistant. In fact, it would stretch easier than it would tear. You can tear it, but it's just odd. See how it kind of stretched there, and then you get it at enough force, then yeah, obviously it's going to tear. But it's almost like, I don't know, it's like, well, there's a little bit of the resin, so it's a little bit of a plasticky feel. But it also has a lot of tooth to it. So pencils and crayons actually look really good. So let me just do the quick flip through, and I'll show you the types of media that I've used in it. Well, the one thing that this paper is absolutely beautiful for is alcohol markers. Alcohol markers will bleed through everything except stone paper. So I've got several pages in here where I've tried some alcohol markers. You'll see those in a minute. But this is alcohol marker, and it did not bleed through. Now, what I will tell you and warn you about is it actually stays wet longer than you might be used to. So you do kind of have to leave your notebook open. And then the other cool effect, since it stays wet longer, you get kind of this, I particularly like this. It gives you kind of a watercolor look, even to alcohol. See how it kind of pools up as it's drying, and so it gives you really cool effect. Now, not everybody's going to like that, but I think it's really cool. So this was alcohol marker. This was tempera paint stick. Here we've got a whole variety of things that I wrote out. This was also some alcohol marker. Again, you can kind of see some of the cool watercolor effect that you can get with it, where it makes it look like real alcohol inks. This one is kind of faint because those were very pastel pencils, but again, they worked well. This was more tempera paint stick with a Posca acrylic marker. Again, it looks really good. And again, more tempera paint stick. And then I love using these tempera paint sticks because they dry so quickly. However, in this notebook, they stay wet a little bit longer. So I was able to go in with like a scratch pencil and do some outlines in there. So I thought that was really cool. So a brand new technique for my tempera paint sticks. Let's see, here we had some shiny watercolors. I believe that came from Five Below. And then this was watercolor pencil. Really nice watercolor pencils. Pencils and crayons work really, really well. This is a really dark pencil, and it doesn't smudge whatsoever. I just absolutely love that. At the time, I only had one Neocolor 2, and so I put it through the paces. You can almost wash it out completely, so you have to be careful not to get it too wet, but it worked well. This was some Bombay India ink, which just took a long time to dry, but I love that effect. And then this, just highlighters. They're so beautiful. And then a normal pencil on top of that. So really, really fun to work with. Again, I was doing some swatching with different types of pencils. These all came from Hobby Lobby. So some watercolor pencils, regular color pencils, and some pastel. Now pastels, just like on every paper, pastels are going to stay powdery unless you put a fixative over them. But that's true just on everything. All right, here's the one that I just did not like on this paper, and these were oil pastels. They stayed kind of goopy for a long time, and of course that is notorious for oil pastels. This has been months. I got this notebook before Christmas, actually before Thanksgiving. I think it was Amazon Prime weekend. These are almost still even a little bit tacky. But a little bit of smudge on the other side too, as I close the notebook. Now, if you diluted them with water, these were water-soluble oil pastels, then they work beautifully because you've got a thinner layer. They will eventually dry. But if you leave them on full strength, they're going to be goopy for a while. Now, the Neocolor 2s, though, did not have that same problem. They did dry nicely. There's no rub off on the other page. So this was some more watercolor pencils. Actually, I think those are scribble sticks is what they call them. This was done with watercolor marker. Again, you get that pooled effect as the colors are drying. More alcohol marker. I believe this was scribble stick. This was colored pencil, and it's just beautiful. Colored pencils, I think, do really, really well on the stone paper. So all the vividness of the pencils itself, it's beautiful. This is just more doodles with alcohol marker. Probably outlined that with pencil and then did alcohol marker. More alcohol marker, and you'll notice that's the beauty of this notebook. These alcohol markers are not bleeding through whatsoever. Again, alcohol marker, zero, ghosting, zero bleed through. It's amazing. More alcohol marker, more alcohol marker, more alcohol marker. This was pencil. And colored pencil. This is more alcohol marker, alcohol marker, alcohol marker, alcohol marker. Again, just to show you, this is actually alcohol marker, very faint. I'm probably going to go back and do something else on that page, but that gave me a nice background. And just some more easy, fun alcohol marker. More alcohol marker, and likewise more alcohol marker. And then here again, these alcohol, actually no, this is the Neocolor 2. I have got just a few more Neocolor 2s, and so here I was swatching them all out, and I used a lot of water. They take a while to dry, and as they're drying, they give a really cool effect. So you can get it in watercolor, you can get it in the Neocolor, and then also in the alcohol marker. So again, it does take longer for the whole page to dry, maybe twice as long, but it will totally dry, and it will. This didn't smudge at all once it was dry. So I think this page is beautiful with those Neocolor 2s. And again, it was very saturated, absolutely no crinkle whatsoever in this sketchbook. So very, very cool. And then again, some scribble stick tests. And I believe that was just watercolor pencils. Oh, and then here we've got some actual watercolor itself. I was testing a new brand of watercolor. I had 3 different colors and was able to get lots of color variety with just 3 primary colors. This is a cool pencil that's got 4 colors in one on the pencil itself, and it is water soluble, so it worked well in this sketchbook. And then acrylic markers, paint markers. And so I was swatching those out. And again, the color is just beautiful. You don't lose any of the color whatsoever. And the bullet tip marker and also the brush tip marker just does really, really nicely because the paper is so smooth. So. All right, I think that's all for this one. So again, I got this on Amazon. I believe when I bought it, it was on the Prime sale for about $8 or $9. Currently, it might be about $13, but I'm sure it fluctuates quite a bit. So a beautiful cover and very interesting stone paper. So give that one a try if you are interested. All right, and then again, I know this is a bit longer video, so thanks for sticking around, because I do want to show you the artwork in here. Not that it's great art, but that way you get an idea of all the things that you can use in these sketchbooks, and then that way you can try all the different types of sketchbooks, and it's just cool to watch how your artwork will progress over time. So this particular notebook, they have them available at Five Below. Now, they were not in my Five Below. So I did look online, and I actually purchased this online. And so I got 2 of them so that the shipping would be worth it. Again, we have Amazon Prime, so I don't have to worry about shipping. But since I ordered this from Five Below's website, it did have some shipping involved. But this is bamboo paper. This was like $3.50. I couldn't believe it. It's such a good deal. And I think this is, there's no mention of any other company name on here. This was created and manufactured in Vietnam. But this logo, this label, looks very much like a German brand that is sold on Amazon. So I'm going to link to that, but also I'm going to link to the Five Below. So you probably won't be able to find it in your Five Below, but you may still be able to order it online for a little while. It does say limited stock. Even when I ordered mine, it was already limited. But let me just show you a little bit of this notebook. I can take this off now. All right, so it's put together nicely. Again, way more than $3.50 because this is like a stitched notebook. So at good build quality. All right, so this is bamboo paper. This is brand new for me. I've never used bamboo paper. I do have about 2 or 3 pages in here that I did use some water, and it's done nicely. It's not as much crinkling as you might expect. That one last page, I did a lot of water on it, so it has crinkled more. But this was the Neocolor 2s, and I used a lot of water. And it took it, and it dried very quickly. But it does give I love that crinkle sound, and I don't mind that it becomes crinkled, but I was surprised at how well it took the water. So just to show you a few other things in here, tempera paint sticks and pencils work beautiful. This is some of my newer, I've got one right here. I keep having a hard time saying those, dermatograph. It's more like an oil pastel, actually. but a China marker, grease marker. And so that's what this was, and it dries beautifully. This is so smooth. Really, really nice for all kinds of media. This is just some more of those same pencils. This was watercolor pencil, and I kept it very light and doesn't crinkle nearly as much. So for a very light wash, it's perfect. I was really surprised at how well it took the water. This is tempera paint sticks. I'm kind of proud of this. I don't ever do people, but I just love how those eyes came out. This was just a doodle page too, but as I look at it now, did any of you ever watch X-Files? This makes me think it looks like Scully from X-Files. So I'm trying to get better at doing people. All right, more tempera paint stick. This is just different colored pencils. And then here are those same colored pencils that I've just recently been testing out and swatching. More pencil. This was acrylic paint marker with some pencil. So paint markers do well. This was just pencil. More pencil. More pencil. This is that new Mitsubishi colored pencil. I love this. Look how saturated that color. Again, this is not a white paper. I love the stone paper because it was purely white. This is more of a cream color paper. But these pencils, just if you do it really dark and burnish it, then it's so nice and smooth, and the paper can handle it. More colored pencil. This was an artist I've been watching. Maybe I'll link to her video below. She does these 2-minute things where you go in and you play along with her. She'll show a picture on the screen and you've got 2 minutes to sketch it. And then she goes back and colors them. That was such a fun video. I was able to sketch more than I thought in the 2 minutes. So far I've only colored one of them in. But the sketch with colored pencil, really cool artist. I'll link below. This was just a quick doodle with some paint markers and pencil. More paint marker. Oh yeah, now we get to my fun tempera paint sticks with pencils. Just love those. All right, now alcohol markers. Now, of course, alcohol markers in this paper, it's going to bleed through. All right, alcohol markers bleed through everything except stone paper. But I kind of like it. Now, you have to have something in here. I have a piece of plastic that I put between the pages as I'm coloring, and that works well. But otherwise, just be careful. You're not going to be able to use the back unless you want to and use, like tempera paint stick on top of it. But alcohol markers look really, really nice on this bamboo paper. And they blend well, and you don't get any of the pooling effect like you do on the stone paper. So here I've got several pages of alcohol marker so that you can see the fronts and the backs. And then this is alcohol marker with pencil. So it's really cool because the pencil does not bleed through, but the alcohol marker does. And so here's kind of similar tempera paint stick alcohol marker. So it looks different on the front and the back. I think that's really cool. This is just pencil. More tempera paint stick and paint marker. Tempera paint stick and pencil. This is colored pencil with acrylic paint. This is tempera paint stick with pencil outline. And then here was the last page I just did. So I used a lot of water on top of the Neo color too. So anyway, a long video, but I just wanted to show you just how well these notebooks hold up to all the different supplies. If you have any questions about either one of them, let me know. I'll try to answer, but I would recommend them. So links below, and thank you so much for watching, and talk to you guys later.